Hey guys, welcome to your second Kivy game tutorial. So in the last tutorial, we just drew an image, and now we're interested in moving this image because oftentimes you are very interested in moving things around when you're developing games. So we're gonna move the image in response to keyboard input, but one thing to note is that Kivy is the GUI framework was developed for touch devices, so keyboards weren't really taken into account. So the way that you get keyboard input is a little bit weird. Basically, your widget, and it has to be a widget, your widget has to request it. And again, this is one of those things that's easier to show than to talk about. So here's our widget, and let's give it keyboard input. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is you want to, let's see, so to a keyboard object we're going to assign. So we're going to go to the window object and we're going to request keyboard from it. Let's go ahead and import the window object, kivy.window. I think it's kivy.core.window. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing you do from the window object, you request the keyboard. And there's a couple things you need to pass in there. So you pass in a callback that will be executed when the keyboard has been closed. So again, Kivy was made for a touch kind of an interface, so these keyboards don't always exist, sometimes they close. So when you're requesting a keyboard from the window, you have to tell it what you want to do when that keyboard has been lost or it has been closed. So this is the function, this is the callback that you're passing in that will be executed when the keyboard has been closed. So we're going to name it aptly. We're going to call it on keyboard closed. As you can see, I'm prepending the return value of my request and my callback, my closed callback, with a little underscore. That's to signify that this is kind of a private thing. So, all right. And then the second argument, just pass in self, which is just a reference to the widget. It's just what you have to do. Okay, so that will give you the keyboard object, and then you want to listen to the keyboard object. So the way that you listen to events, so Kivy has a pretty nice event system, just like most GUI frameworks have an event system. To events, you can attach callbacks. Events are important things that occur at some point in time, and callbacks are one or more functions that will be executed when that event has occurred. It's a very common concept in a lot of GUI frameworks, and Kivy has their own event system as well. So when an object emits events, in Kivy, you say dispatches events, just a change of terminology. So this keyboard object that is returned by the request keyboard function, this object will emit events when keyboard things happen. And we want to attach callbacks to those events. So the way that you do that is by calling the bind method. So to the keyboard, we want to bind to its onKeyDown event. And what callback do we want? Well, we're going to call, let's see, should I prepend this with an underscore? We're going to call, yeah, on key down. So we're going to call our own method, and we're going to name it the same thing. I hope that does not confuse you. Okay, and for now, we'll only bind to the on key down. So there's a few things we need to define here, this on keyboard closed and this on key down. First, we will go ahead and define on keyboard closed. And this callback will take a couple of, oh, well, it doesn't take any. I don't think it gets past any arguments. So on keyboard closed, what do we want to do is we want to, first of all, unbind. And in Kivy, this is how you unbind a callback from an event, by calling the unbind method. So we want to unbind basically what we bound over here. We can just copy and paste that. We want to stop listening to the on key down. And then we want to make sure that our keyboard variable is none because we've lost the keyboard. Okay. Now the other thing that we want to define is on key down. This is what the function that we want executed when the keyboard has been pressed down. And that gets past a couple of arguments. So of course it's a method, so the first argument has to be self. And then you get a reference to the keyboard that emitted this event, a key code, a textual representation of the key that was pressed, and the modifier keys like Control, Alt, etc. All right, so on key down, what do we want to do? Well, for now, let's just say key down has been detected, so we know that it works. I like to, when I'm developing, I like to quickly see my results because I'm a pretty impatient person, I guess. Okay, so let's double check our work here. All right, so we use the window objects request keyboard method to request a reference to the keyboard. And we passed in a callback that gets called when the keyboard has been closed. We define that callback. Inside that callback, we basically unbind from the keyboard and we set our keyboard to none. And up here, we actually bind to the keyboard. So ultimately, our on key down gets executed when a key has been pressed. And in response to that, right now, we're just printing key down has been detected. Let's go ahead and save this and run and hope everything works. If not, we will solve it. Okay, so already we have a problem here because our rectangle is not being drawn, but let's see if the keys work. Okay, yeah, that's kind of weird how our rectangle was not drawn initially. We'll figure that out later, but as you can see, the key down is detected. So let's read the log. Let's run this again. Yeah, you have to press a key in order for it to be drawn. Okay, we will figure that out. Do we have to do what self.canvas.before? This is executed beforehand. Nope. Let's try. Right now, I'm just playing around to fix that. Nope. Okay, well, I will research and solve that problem later. For now, let's continue along. So we're able to detect the keyboard. Now let's actually move. Instead of just printing, let's move. So we have this rectangle instructions. Recall from the previous tutorial that I said you can basically, oh, I know why our, sorry that I'm jumping around, but I know why our player was only drawn when we pressed the on key down because of our indentation. See this? This is underneath this function. We need to move that back up here, and that makes sense. Yeah, on key down, we just want to print key down. And let's see if this fixed our issue. Yeah, see, it's already drawn. Now I don't have to press a key. So that makes sense. Okay, we fixed that little bug. Now again, remember, you put in a bunch of instructions in the canvas, right? And these instructions are things like draw a rectangle, draw a line, etc. And they have parameters. For example, the draw a rectangle instruction, some of its parameters are the position, size, and in this case, an image, a path to an image that you want to draw inside the rectangle. So if every frame, when it's time to render, when it's time to draw your widget, all of these instructions will be executed. And they will be drawn according to their parameters. So all we have to do is keep a reference to the instruction and change the parameters in order to change where it's drawn. Let me show you. We will keep a reference to this rectangle drawing instruction and we will call it player. Okay, and then on key down, what we will do is we will change parameters of this drawing instruction. So in particular, we will change its position parameter. So we're going to make its position some new x and some new y. Well, let's calculate that new x and new y based on what keys have been pressed. So current x is going to be self.player.position. Position is a tuple of two values. The first one is x, the second one is y. So current x is that. Current y is going to be the second element. Now new x, initially we will make it be the same as the current x, same with the new y. All right, now if, let's see, now if the W key was pressed, so quick note, there's a couple of different ways to detect what key has been pressed, the key code or the text. I usually just go by the text. The second element of the key code is a tuple, is actually just the text anyways. So if the W key was pressed, what we want to do is increment the current Y. So the current Y, we will increment it by 1. If the text is S, we will decrease the value by 1, the Y value. If the text is equal to A, we will increment, we will decrease the X value by 1, so we will move left. If the text is D, we will move right, so we're going to increase it by 1. We got a 1 here. And this should tell you the coordinate system, but I will tell you explicitly. Unlike most frameworks where the top left is the origin and plus X is to the right, plus Y is down, in Kivy that is not how it is. In Kivy, the bottom left is your origin, plus X is to the right, plus Y is up. So keep that in mind. Coordinate systems are really important. Okay. So we increment. Oh no, I did one little mistake here. I don't want to increment the. Oh, I guess this is fine. We don't need to do that. We'll just go. We don't need that, and we'll do current X. This works too. Current Y. Okay. We will run, and let's see if it works. So W makes it move up, D makes it move to the right, S down, A left. Okay, so we got it to move. Now, there is a problem with the way that we're moving things right now. Basically, we are moving as fast as the on key down is being emitted, right? So as I hold, let's say, for example, the W key down, every so often that event keeps getting emitted. And every time it's emitted, I move by 1. So the rate that we're moving depends on the rate that Kivy happens to be emitting these events. Now this rate will be different on different computers. So our player will be moving at different speeds on different computers. That is usually not what you want. You want the speed to be determined by, say, pixels per second. So it's the same number of pixels per second moved on any computer. So let's change how we're doing this. So we'll actually, let's leave it here for now, and then let's go ahead and do that in the next tutorial. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye-bye.